Hello and welcome to episode 204 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I'm Jeff Mayo.
With this nice Kill Switch Engage shirt.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've just looked at it in the light. It's a giant fiery lion.
Yep.
Pretty metal.
Indeed.
How was Slipknot and everyone else?
So good. I missed this shit.
How's Kill Switch? I actually didn't hear you talk about Kill Switch at all. They got a full hour, didn't they?
Yeah, it was great.
Hell yeah.
Everyone was because it was dark and everything, and just the way, especially since they had a minimal stage setup and just the way it was, it kind of felt like, since I was up front, kind of like a headlining club show, just how close I was and everything. Despite the thousands of people behind me, that's the way it felt like, because all the big Kill Switch fans were up front. So it was a fun time.
Nice. Hell yeah. Yeah, I miss concerts. I thought about it the other day. I don't even know what the last one I went to.
I'm sorry to bring this up while we're on camera, but I keep on forgetting about it. Do you want to go to that Silverstein show?
Yeah, I thought we already litigated this.
Yeah, I know. I just want to make sure because we haven't bought tickets yet.
Yeah.
My mom may not be going, so it might be us.
That's sad. Yeah. Well,
she said that 3 nights in a row sounds like a lot. I'm like, fair.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty fair. I don't think I would not be able to go 3 nights in a row, and I'm
going to.
And I guess technically a young man. I don't feel like a young man at times.
All right, let's get those tickets soon.
Yeah,
but we're here to talk about video games.
We are here to talk about video games. Well, we haven't started our music podcast yet.
Yeah.
Jeff,
Darby.
We start this podcast out with game talk every week, and this is a game talk that I am particularly excited about. Because for the first time in freaking God knows how long, we have a new Metroid game. I know there was Metroid Samus Returns, but it was technically a reboot, whatever thing.
Remake.
Yeah, we got a new shit.
New shit, yeah. I don't know exact he was promoting as the first new main quote unquote mainline Metroid game in 15 years. Out of the fuck.
Damn. And it's interesting because Metroid Dread's coming in now it's interesting for Metroid to come back because now it's coming into kind of an environment where we have a lot of these games all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And that was definitely not always the case. I think there was a very big spell in between the Metroid games and when it stopped. There was kind of this type of game had died off.
We're at the point where Steam needs a freaking Metroidvania tab.
It does. Yes, seriously does. And I think some of the best games of all time have now come in this genre. So it is interesting. It suddenly comes out in a competitive environment where it's okay, we have a bunch of things to judge between now and what each does better than the other, which is interesting. It's not necessarily, if you were Nintendo thinking we're going to make a Metroid game, that's not necessarily the environment you thought you would be in going into this. But not to say I think this game so far stands with these super amazing perfected versions of the Metroidvania genre or whatever. But I'm just saying it is interesting.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I was very curious leading up to it obviously how the game was going to be in general. Just because we've gotten a lot of these, so it's depending on what they do with it, would this feel kind of stale in comparison?
Yeah, definitely that was a possibility.
Less so for us and more so for the people who play multiple Metroidvanias a year.
Right.
And how it would be received and all that in general. And sell. Obviously, it's a big thing.
That too,
which is apparently very well.
Yeah, and that's the other weird thing is that as important as Metroid is to video games, it has never really been a big seller for Nintendo.
There have been games that are in the genre that the series is named after that have outsold the best-selling Metroid game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with what you see of the sales of Metroid.
Yeah, I mean at least Hollow Knight for sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
Even just being on different systems like that already immediately does that. But yeah, Jeff, what do you think about the actual game now that you've played a little bit more than me, or not a little, I don't know, you played a decent bit more than
I'm
me,
probably somewhere between 16-75% through the story,
nice.
Something like that, and it is freaking fantastic, Darby.
Hell yeah,
it is very good. One thing I keep on thinking about when I'm watching is just the way Samus animates is so good. I love it. And like the Emmys and all that, just how they move, and it just looks so good and clean. Like that, obviously the gameplay and progression is great. You know, it is a Metroid game. You start the game, oops, Samus lost all her abilities. So you got to go through and get them all again. But even though this is the umpteenth time this has happened to Samus, it still feels very satisfying going through it. I think there's a good pace to it, to where you're every so often getting a new ability, and it doesn't feel overwhelming.
Yeah, no. So far, I'm like, I don't know, 25% or something like that. But so far, I agree. Yeah, the pace has been very, very nice with that, and it's like, in a weird way, I don't know if this makes any sense, but like Metroidvanias, this type of game just almost feels like the most pure. It's like the essence of video games. It's just something about the backtracking, the like slow progression of abilities that like slowly unlocks this map. It's just like the most pure, basic like video game, and like I think there's good and bads to that, but it's something that, like you said, it's the umpteenth time we've done this, but it is just a satisfying formula for a game that you like. The satisfaction of seeing that map slowly unravel and all these things.
Well, and you're seeing these power-ups and stuff like missiles and energy tanks where like you can't get to, like, I know I can get you some point, and then you get the ability and you're like, I know where I can use this, and then you get stronger and all that. Yeah. I'm kind of hoping it's clear. I'm sure it kind of will be when I know when the final boss is coming, so I can just kind of know when to go and really do some big cleanup. So I'm going to feel like a boss.
Probably will, I'm sure. When speaking of bosses, I do think the bosses, the big boss encounters, the combat in general in this game, I'm enjoying more than if you would. I mean, like. These are always like puzzles and stuff and everything, but I actually think like the counter mechanic and just some of the other like ways that you have to aim to shoot people or do charge up attacks and everything, I think is actually pretty cool. For
the counter is very satisfying.
Yes,
because depending on the enemy, there is it's not like the biggest window, but it's also like most enemies are pretty easy to read when to do it. Even though they tell you when the window is because it usually flashes, but when you've seen it once or twice, you kind of know for each kind of enemy what the animation like leading up to it, like you kind of know when it's coming just by their startup animation and stuff. Like the flying enemies are the ones that they mainly use for the counter and to get health kind of throughout the thing. Like you kind of get enough, you've seen those enough where you get the idea of like, okay, this is when they're about to attack, like the exact moment.
It's cool. They definitely like I was just that was one thing, and to be honest, I still do think I'm ultimately gonna like prefer Ori over Metro. We can get into that more, but one thing I was like, Ori was always like, it has this Metroid thing, but like the combat is like so cool, and there's like you have like a combo string of things you can do, and it almost feels like a action brawler mixed with the platforming and puzzle and everything, more so than the previous like Metroids and stuff from back in the day did. This feels like it actually is taking a step closer to being kind of like that too, where it's like the combat encounters and everything like that is not just as, but pretty like close to being as satisfying as the rest of the game. And like you mentioned boss fights. The boss fights so far have been excellent to me. Like I think the like this game can be surprisingly difficult in places, like maybe going in because it's a Nintendo game. But I really like the boss fights in this because you're probably not, unless you're just a pro gamer, trademark, you're not going to beat this in the first try or the second try. It's going to take at least a couple attempts, but the bosses can be, and even stuff like with the enemies and stuff are difficult but fair, just because it feels like bullshit maybe at first, but then once you've done it a couple times, you
you see all the tells, you see the timing, you get exactly what's happening. Because I don't know if you made this boss. I'm not gonna go into detail. Okay, there's a boss you fight underwater. I don't know if you got to that one yet.
No, I think I've really only done the first boss. I've done like mini bosses, but I think I've only done one that's like a real boss.
Yeah, the one that's underwater. I had a little trouble with that one. It didn't take me too long, but it was just like I got so good at telling, like going through its tells at some point, it didn't even get to the second phase. I killed it before it got to the second phase. I got it to all the time. I was like, I was just going like, okay, the second phase is about to start. And then it started exploding and he died like, okay, I'm just a god.
It's just too good.
Yep.
It's just too fucking good.
And some of these things can be, like, some of these boss fights can be surprisingly cinematic. Like,
yeah.
They just have these little moments, like when you counter certain moves, they do a little cool little cutscenes, and then obviously like before and after, they're cool little things as well.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the art style because it's an interesting one for me. Because right from the jump from the first trailer, I feel the same way now as I did then, where it's like I really like this art style. I can't exactly put my finger on why, because like when people say they don't like it, I kind of understand. Like it's not super flashy, and it does like kind of on its surface look like it could be like they didn't give this game enough budget to get like HD texture things or whatever. And like I think there's some truth to that. I mean, I think this game was probably not given a big budget or whatever, but I do really like the art style.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, no, I think like when you compare this to other like big Nintendo games, because Metroid Dread is the pretty much besides Pokemon, like besides the other than Pokemon big holiday-ish fall game or whatever. But yeah, when you compare that to past years and other big ones, this is definitely not just because it's 2D, because that's stupid. It has a lower budget just good visually, but I do agree with you. The art style I think really clicks.
Yeah, I think they just like expertly did it with what they have. Because you compare it to, I mean, I know it's a weird comparison, but compare it to like Mario Odyssey and like the sparkling sands and everything. Is like, holy fuck, it's just like jumps out and punches you in the face. This is a lot more like subtle going in there, but it's just like the use of colors. It's somehow a bright and vibrant game, but also scary. It's like a horror, it's like a horror alien-esque thriller type feel to it, even though they use very bright blues and reds and everything. It's like they've somehow like put that line in between. Like the color palette in this game I adore. There's something about that like red, blue, and white like kind of
and
color palette.
Not to get into like really details, they kind of expand on a little bit once you go into different areas. And even though the areas themselves aren't like the craziest thing, and they're kind of like typical video game settings, but with a little Metroid team, I think kind of like with everything else we're talking about, what you've seen, they do it very well to make it look good and clean and all that.
Yeah,
and fit.
I guess the only time I was like, oh yeah, that's very budget, is like whenever you have one of those cinematic cutscenes that Samus like shoots them, especially when she shoots them with a rocket, it just kind of like hits them in the face, and there's just like their model does not change at all. It was like, okay, that's very if this thing had some more budget, there'd probably be like some effect, but it just kind of like it looks like a video game projectile hitting nothing at times. So I mean, it's not perfect, but just existing in that world, I really dig.
Yeah.
Another thing is like and I don't expect you're gonna have many takes on this. Maybe you'll surprise me. I don't really love the music in this game as much as I thought I would. As much as I do like previous like Metroid things and stuff like that. Like I think it's good, but I think it's kind of generic. Like sci-fi stuff. I mean, and it's Nintendo, like Tim from Kind of Funny definitely pointed this out. Nintendo kind of has a tier. There's definitely like the Super Mario Odyssey. We have a fucking orchestra. We're going fucking hog wild with the Xenoblade. We're going crazy with this shit.
Yeah.
And then there's definitely a tier below that where it's like, okay, this is mostly like MIDI electronic things that it's like we're gonna kind of have a fake orchestra thing here, and like that obviously put less budget into it. And like I think this definitely fell into that tier, and it's certainly not bad. It's just for how great the atmosphere is in every other way. That's the one thing that I'm always like I didn't mind. Like the other night, I'd listened to a podcast while playing the game, and I didn't mind doing that. And I was like, I kind of wish that I was so I kind of wish that I loved the soundtrack enough to where but it does what it needs to do. Yeah. What do you think about the Emmys? Because we have not talked about the Emmys at all.
I like them a lot.
The last big thing, it's a pretty big part of the game, I think. And,
yeah. Because each section pretty much has an Emmy, and that's just a big part of it. Trying to figure that out. I like them. I like how they're relegated to their own sections in there, and for the most part, like something I really like about this game in general, I wanted to get to, and I think it works, in the context of Emmy, when you face off against Emmys, is while it's a Metroidvania on these maps and you can kind of go about the place, I think the game does a good job where it's kind of like if you just kind of crit path it, like a very linear thing, it like pushes you to certain places pretty much the whole time for the most part. But it doesn't really feel like that a lot of the times, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it does that very well. So obviously that goes into the Emmy thing where they have these points where it's definitely like, okay, this is the point where you're going to do this Emmy section. And while the Emmy sections of each area is pretty big for the overall map for each area, you're kind of doing them in sections, and they're kind of segmented for the most part when you're supposed to go there. There are some times where you can go in and it's like, oh, you had this big wide open area and you're just kind of fucked.
Yeah, no, I like them a lot too. I mean, there's definitely I can be an impatient person, especially when it comes to like figuring out like a puzzle of an environment or something. And there's definitely been times where I've gotten kind of annoyed with the like, okay, I just want enough time to look at this area, but like this thing's chasing me the whole time, so I'm like running around in circles. I'm like, God damn it, just shut up for a second, let me look. So it's like it hasn't always been satisfying to me. That's definitely a me thing instead of a design thing. But the general like way they move, how dangerous they are, I like that a lot. And I like it makes you get better at using all the different platforming tools you have because you're kind of forced to. And it can get satisfying when like there's definitely the music starts pumping and it's like right behind you, and then you like look and you see like a thing you can slide under. You're like, fuck, run over there. Like,
or like they've done a decent job, or the game does a good job of kind of periodically giving you like one of your power ups. This is something that it's very useful against Emmys in particular. Like they have other uses, but this is definitely an Emmy escape tool.
Well, it's kind of cool to have a central thing in the video game that your way to deal with it is not combat.
Yeah,
because it's like it'll fuck you up. It's like it's gonna kill you in one hit, which is kind of cool. That it's not just like shoot it with all your lasers. It's like no, you need to outsmart this thing. You need to do all this, which I think is a cool dynamic.
Yeah, even when you get the Omega Cannon, which is how at least where I'm at, you're killing all these things. You do that at the very beginning of the game. For the first one, that's kind of a little puzzle. You got to figure out where's the right place to kind of do it.
Well, that's basically like the effectively like you beat this section of the map thing. So it's like you earn the right to kill this thing. I mean, it's not really like a combat like thing. It's more of just you did all this, blow its fucking head off. Hey, let's go.
And I also like again where I'm at so far. At least for the last couple Emmys, they've kind of added something to it to make them a little different.
They were lime green.
Yeah, but just kind of like their movement and how they act is, or like maybe a little ability they have is just slightly different to add a little to it.
Yeah, that's cool.
The front, like, okay, I'm getting used to this. Like, oh fuck,
gosh,
it multiplied. No, they haven't done that yet.
Jesus,
they're mating. But also something before we move on, what I really like about this game so far, as far as like the story of it, it is very subtle, just with Samus and everything. And you probably haven't got to a lot of this stuff, but I kind of like how, again, there's not much there, but it's a lot of cool lore stuff, like, and still goes into the overarching Metroid story.
Stuff with the Chozos and stuff. I don't really know.
And the Metroids and the X's. Yeah, it's really cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You have very aliens, and I love it.
Yeah. Good shit.
Well, you know what else is good shit, Jeff?
Back for Blood?
Back for Blood. Zombie shooting.
Darby? That's a hot take.
Is that a hot take?
I don't know. I've seen a lot. Yeah. More mixed overall, I feel like, but there are a lot of people that
Yeah.
Hating on this.
I mean, I suppose I like really like Left 4 Dead back in the day, but I'm not coming into this with these weird expectations of what this must be. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a fun game that I shot zombies with my friends. Guess what this was? A fun game where I shot zombies with my friends. Mm-hmm. I had a blast last night.
I guess, you know, for disclosure or whatever, we've only played a couple hours. So as far as like how this game holds up for us over time, we don't know yet.
For sure. But it was a very, very strong start to it, I think. Yeah. And
we stuck.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's hard. Like in a very fun way. It's hard. It feels rewarding when you finally get through it. It's certainly like I like that the game has teeth like that. I feel like this game would not work as well if it was a pushover.
The moment where we started a section and we're both like, oh shit, me and Darby only have a quarter of our health to start out with.
Damn.
We can't go any higher. Oh fuck.
Yeah, that mechanic is a little annoying because like, if you keep. I was like, all right, then fuck, just let us start over then, whatever, you know, but anyway, I just think the game itself would not work if it was a pushover, you know, like as far as just the like y'all teaming up, because it would easily become just mindless shooting.
Dead Rising,
if it, and I would not,
which has its place, but
for sure. But I do not enjoy it as much, and I would not enjoy this as much. But like, I like that we were already like getting into we were already getting strategies of like, all right, you do this. No, there's a guy behind you. Do that. You know, like we got to our team calling a lot. And just in the short amount of time we played, it was a very cool ramp of different zombies that do different things, and you learning that like if we do this, it's going to attract a bunch of zombies or whatever. And it's like, I think we all like changed what gun we thought was good multiple times because he just wanted to test out a bunch of things. And you know, I think we all kind of landed on different things. I think there are some things that are just like less viable, like sniper rifles just feel almost pointless because it's way too chaotic. You know, but I'm sure someone finds a very good use for it. But in general, I think it is very Left 4 Dead, but that is a good thing in a lot of ways. It's something that it's a type of game that I haven't really played very much since then, if at all. And I think that especially if you have a group of, I'm sure a group of 3 would work too, but I think a group of 4 is perfect. It's great for that.
Yeah, you want to try to get that max group. Don't want any of them CPUs or whatever shit.
Oh, do you have to play with CPUs?
I don't know.
Yeah, but what did you think? I mean, I played Left 4 Dead a long ass time ago, but it's your kind of first time doing this.
Yeah, so. A lot of fun. I mean, not that I'm surprised. I figured it'd be. Thank you, Game Pass. I'm glad I didn't have to put any money to it to try it out. But yeah, unsurprisingly, it was a lot of fun. I felt like I was getting better towards the end. I did like my shoddy.
Shoddy Bugatti.
But yeah, unfortunately, it's not good at racking up kills because you're doing one shot at the time or whatever. I got a good little setup thing where like I had 14 bullets or whatever, and I just put a lot into reload time, like cutting that down. So it wasn't like
reload will get you. That's the brutal when the zombies are coming at you. You're like, fuck.
Yeah. But wasn't mowing down them quite as much as Alex, but I was holding my own, you know.
Alex likes to showboat with that. That's fine.
Yeah. Also, something I did realize because we were playing on whatever the lowest difficulty was, and it turned out, you know, when we were doing friendly fire stuff and we were shooting each other and they're making comments, that wasn't damaging us because we were in the lower difficulty. Whenever we bump it up, we will be hurting each other.
Yeah, I did hear someone say that. I thought it was like a card or something that took it off. Someone said that it was annoying that like there was some mode or something. I guess it was just lower difficulty where the friendly fire wasn't actually doing anything, but they still acted like it was. So it's like they should have just taken those voice lines out. Yeah, but anyway, no. If you have a group of friends you like shooters at all, or even just like action strategy games with your friends or whatever, like, you know, that I think this is just a slam dunk.
Yeah.
And looking at it from how we played like 2.5 hours or something, and it looks like you can see in the loading screen how many levels there are, and it looks like there's quite a bit. And I'm sure this is going to be a game they keep adding content onto.
Yeah, well, and also it's one of those games like Preston mentioned, you know, like even once we get through it, we're replay it. Like,
Yeah,
get the
exactly.
higher difficulty, try
And
to do
there's the
better.
swarm mode. There's some other type
Yeah.
of mode. There's definitely
Yeah, I think What's the swarm mode, man?
I mean, I don't know, but I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's just we're holding down
Yeah.
the location. We just see how many swarms you can
Okay,
go through,
gotcha.
basically. Like, they
Yeah,
just
and
keep-
I
they
know,
just keep coming
I
in.
think then they're planning on adding a mode where it's like, yeah, you're fighting against human-controlled zombies.
Yeah, I think that's already in, or maybe that was just they talked about. But they definitely people in the beta played that.
Okay.
But so,
Yeah. So I didn't see it on there. No one mentioned it. I just
Unless
figured it
it
might
was
not
just
been in the game.
unless it was just only. in the
Well,
beta.
then that's something else.
It's something that's coming anyway. I've seen people play that
Yeah,
mode
yeah.
really in the beta before, so. Yeah. And I think most people said that mode needs some work, so maybe that's why it's not in the final one right now. But yeah, it's honestly some of the most fun I've had, especially in modern new game. I haven't played a whole lot of them, but like it was a ton of fun. I cannot wait to get back to it.
I guess I'll ask you this: how do you feel about the cards? That's something. I know that's one thing people have a problem with the game.
I like them a lot.
Yeah,
honestly, really.
I don't have a problem with them.
Yeah.
I guess I could technically take them or leave them.
Yeah.
Really, but
I mean, I think
it has some strategy to it. I'm sure right now it's pretty basic because we probably have the same cards for the most part. Though I don't know if you guys did. I should have mentioned it. I went to something where I could use points that we got through our things to just buy like cards.
Yeah, okay.
like a whole set. So I got one thing where I got a set that just added a bunch of health to me.
Nice, yeah.
And healing stuff.
I mean, yeah, I just went. I didn't buy any new cards, but when I went to the card, there were other cards that I already had apparently, but they just didn't put it in the deck yet or whatever. So I just added some more to the starter deck. But like, there's some strategy if you can like have a small deck if you just want to try to make sure you get something.
Even especially if it's like we're primarily playing me, you, Alex, Preston we can kind of build our decks, especially if it does mean something of like, okay, Alex will just be the berserker where he'll go ham with a baseball bat or some shit.
No, I mean, I really like them because like there's cards, there's beneficial cards for you, and they add some randomness of it because you have this deck or whatever, and it's like, ooh, can I get this one card? Ooh, I got it. Let's go.
Yeah.
And there's also negative cards to go against you, and those are also randomized. I think it's kind of fun for a game like this co-op PvE like arcadey type shooter thing. To have some randomness to it because like that's just fun. You could be like, oh, we got a good roll, a bad roll, or we got an interesting roll, and it just makes it like we said before. If this is a game that you want to just have your friend group shooting the shit, doing this on a like weekly or bi-weekly basis or something, this is something that like a year from now you can replay the same thing, but because of the cards, it's going to be a different experience in some way. I mean, it's not like it's going to be the most drastic thing, but like. They're like we might get some card that's like they're gonna do what to us, it's like well, I kind of like that element of like we don't know what's gonna happen.
Well, also I realized it's more incentive to not want to lose because when we lose and like we have to restart, like the deck we build up, like the cards we've drawn at that point are gone. Like we gotta get a fresh hand.
Yeah, so it's like if this one's really good, it's like, all right, boys, we better.
Well, especially since whenever you go to a new level, like you add another card to the thing.
Lose all of that.
Yeah. So like there was a time when we had our longest string where like we all had like a whole bunch of cards thing up, and then we lost.
And that's another cool element. It's like if you can keep it going without having to use continue or whatever for that long, then like you're stacking up. Benefit. So I think it's a pretty smart system all the way around. I don't necessarily understand why it's controversial.
Yeah.
Personally,
it's some weird microtransaction thing people are up in the number, but I really don't know if it has any microtransactions. To be honest,
I mean, like, don't just let the word card scare you. If anyone's being like, I mean, it could be called literally anything. It's just like it's like a
hear that Midnight Sun haters.
Just for some reason, card is a dirty word for this shit.
It's true,
And sometimes I can get like randomness being annoying in like super competitive games, but this is like an arcade PvE shooter with your friends for the most part. Like I'm okay with having some wacky randomness in there,
Oh yeah.
And at least so far, it was never just like, oh, we got this card, so we're just OP and can destroy everything, or we got this card, so we're absolutely fucked. It was just like interesting little tweaks to what's going on. I mean, that might get more severe later. We'll see. But
I agree.
I like it.
Not a fun.
Good game.
Well, Darby, It is the end. The final Smash character has been added to the game. No mores.
We lower Smash into its grave.
Yeah. Sora is out, and I have played him just a little bit.
Little taste.
Little taste. Go mess around, practice mode for 2 seconds, and do what I normally do, and just go straight into the classic mode.
Yeah, and you went Sephiroth v Sora v Sephiroth and Cloud, right? Please tell me that was somewhere in that classic.
So something really cool. They did have a Cloud fight where you fight him in the Fire Emblem Coliseum, throwing back to when in Kingdom Hearts 1 when Sora fought Cloud in the Coliseum from Hercules in the Hercules world. Sephiroth was not in there.
Who puts the Glad in Gladiator, Jeff?
Yeah. But Sephiroth's not in there because he was a DLC character. Because not everyone's gonna have him.
Lame.
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, like he'd be the final.
You're not playing as him though. So
Yeah.
you just tickle the balls a little bit.
Yeah.
You like that fight against Sephiroth?
I agree. But they're weird like that.
No, at least
Sephiroth should have been the final boss because it was Crazy Hand Master Hand. It should have been Sephiroth.
lame. Yeah.
It should have been Sephiroth and Hollow Bastion.
Or it's the final character. It should have been Taboo or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! There he goes. She's back. How is he, Jeff?
He's fun. One of my lower scores in classic mode, I think. I need to get used to him because he is very floaty.
He's squishy too.
He's a squishy boy. But that side B pretty crazy. Pretty nasty, Darby. Especially when you like his up B's pretty strong. In general, it's not the best recovery move, but then you can go that into his side B, and again, that's pretty crazy. Like just the mobility of it, and you can do some crazy damage on combos. Haven't watched too many people play as him yet. Gonna definitely look at more of that, but it sounded like at least from a competitive standpoint, MKLeo, best Smash player too. Best ultimate player to ever live, probably. He made Darby. He won a major with Byleth. Come on, he's a bit yeah. He's a crazy man. Saying he thinks Sora's in like top tier, like maybe the lower end of it, but he's like high tier.
Okay.
Based off early impressions.
Yeah, I mean, I can see fast has juggling potential, has range. It's like, the squishiness won't matter as much for the people who are really, really good.
Yeah, moving around all over the place. Yeah. And it's funny, like a character like this released the same or was announced the same day as Nickelodeon All Stars, where it's like the Sora type character is kind of the norm.
Yeah.
Or that kind of Sora play style is the norm in that game. Yeah.
Well, you at least, I mean, luckily for you, you don't really have a type of character. Everyone is your type of character, so like it's kind of a dumb question to even ask. But you're so excited about Sora being in here, you feel like Sora is going to be a character independent of it being Sora that you're going to enjoy playing.
Yeah. It'd be a lot of fun, and his counter is pretty crazy. Because it is a little different. I saw a video of it. Have a lot of counters like obviously they'll do the attack and the person doing the counter will attack, but sometimes where it's like a dash attack, it will go through them. So they're out of range. So I saw a video of Banjo using Wonder Wing into the counter. No. The difference between Sora's counter and other ones, it stuns them in front of them. It stops them. So if you do that, Sora will stop Banjo and counter him, and I saw it kill from the middle of the stage at 55% on Banjo.
Oh, no.
So it looks like his counter might be pretty good. I don't know.
I thought the counter just like sent them the way they were going or something. Or did I make that up? Or was that a Nick All-Stars character or someone that like, I thought his counter like didn't actually attack. It just kind of like, he just like sidestepped them and they kept going. Or am I thinking of a completely different character? There's someone.
You think of someone else? He definitely attacks.
Okay, I must be thinking of a Nick All-Stars character. There was someone who did this. I'm not making this up. There was someone.
Talking about like Nigel's little fish thing.
I don't think it was Nigel.
It's not a counter, but
there was someone that had like it's not really a counter, but they had a like, you're charging at me, and you just kind of like you do it like a counter, and the person just like kind of keeps going through you like. It just stops the ability from happening, not like attacking them or stunning them.
Not sure.
I don't know. Anyway, carry
on. But yeah, side B's nasty. That's good. That's gonna be the main toolkit. The spells are cool. I tested it out because they mentioned Sakurai showed off spamming the fireball. I was like, oh, can you spam the other ones? No, you can only spam the fireball. Shame. I wanted the spam lightning strikes. But I don't know how good at least in 1v1s the lightning will be like when everyone's on the platform.
Yeah.
But I can tell it's a great edge guarding tool. Just kind of doing that, and they're all the stage, like it's harder to dodge it. But crazy. Don't think what else. Yeah, I just been like too much time with Sora, but seen a lot of fun. Hits pretty hard, but yeah, really squishy. Like takes a lot of damage and looks like get killed pretty low %.
Yeah,
depending who you're facing.
Well, speedy, squishy characters are my jam. Floaty characters less my jam.
Yeah, it makes sense because it is Sora, but yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. Because he is the floatiest floater to ever float.
Also, something I really like about his class mode is besides, I think, the Master Hand fight, I think the rest of them are, they're stamina battles. So it does that fancy boss and animation thing.
I just want to show that off.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's all the love and care that was put into Sora. Just also listening closely, just the sound effects of him hitting them are just like when he hits someone with the keyblade, it's exactly like the game, and you see the little like effects as well.
Of course,
it's all so good, Darby.
Hell yes.
I'm so sad it's over.
I know.
No more characters.
What do we even have to look forward to anymore? What's the point?
Yep.
Shut the whole thing down. No, I mean, it's just a legendary time for video games. It's such a huge part of our childhood into adulthood, just our entire life. It's been honestly such a pleasure to just be excited about this game, to play this game. It has gone to lengths that just never thought were imaginable, and just what a perfect send off for it.
Yep. I know I'm biased, but yep. For a lot of reasons, I think it is.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we need to stream it soon. It's been a bit. And just play it in general. Yeah.
Well, you can get the damn internet. We're not streaming right now because we can't handle a podcast, much less.
True.
Oh, Lord. Let's get into some news. Hit me with the news jingle.
Jingle, Darby.
Well, let's go to your other great love in life, and that is DC. What does DC stand for? Does it stand for something?
My mind goes to Detective Comics, but then it'd be Detective Comics.
Like they don't even know at this point.
I don't know if it means anything. It stands for anything.
It just is.
Yeah, it's just DC.
It just is. Huh. Anyway, why are we talking about DC, Jeff?
Because we had the DC Fandome this past weekend, and they did talk about some video games as well as the million other things.
Enter the dome.
So we're here to talk about DC Super Pets, the new animated movie featuring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart.
Detective Comics Inc.
Okay.
So it's Detective Comics.
Yes.
I guess because no one knows what the fuck it stands for, so they had to add comics in the end, but it is technically Detective Comics.
Nice.
I imagine Detective Comics is not what it's called anymore, but that is what it was originally. And now it's just DC Comics. Yeah. More you know.
Yep. But yeah, a bunch of cool announcements and shit. But we're not here to talk about all the movies and TV shows and stuff, though. I am happy about a lot of it. We're talking about video game shit. We got trailers for 2 games, Darby. 2 games that we haven't seen in like a year. Gotham Knights and the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. Let's start with that Gotham Knights, Darby.
Court of Owls.
Court of Owls. We knew they were the villains, but this is kind of, more of a story trailer to kind of set up.
They listening.
Yeah. The tone and just, I guess, and kind of introduce people who may not be as much in the know to the Court of Owls. Of course, I know all about them. Come on. I'm a fucking dork.
Kind of me. I know about them.
Yeah. But they are the secret society that has lived in Gotham for like a long time. Centuries. Crazy. Yeah. But how can Batman be the master detective? He didn't know about them.
I know. The fun, man.
Poser. But I'm still unfortunately, we didn't get like enough like a lot of new stuff from this trailer.
Yeah.
Because we knew about the quarter battles. There was no new gameplay here, but at least we saw gameplay last year, so I'm okay with them kind of maybe doing a little story trailer. I kind of wish we got more of a exact maybe, or at least a release window for next year instead of just 2022.
Yeah,
because this game was delayed out of this year.
Yeah,
so
they're probably trying to do more like quick announce it and then it's out a few months later. But it does make me think it's at least close to the halfway point, if not second.
Yeah, it's kind of I was kind of hoping maybe they were going to announce it like February, Marchish.
Yeah,
though there's a lot of stuff there which we'll get to later. But
doubtful of that at this point.
Yeah. I'm excited for this game. We can complain about everything being related to the Bat family. I do that well too. As much as I love Batman, it's like all the big stuff seems to be surrounded on. I'm like, including the fucking Flash movie. Okay. But
yeah, unfortunately, DC doesn't feel like they're too many of their things don't hit to where it's probably hard to convince them to take a swing on something small. So the executives are like, no, Batman sells, we do Batman. Whereas on the MCU, they're like, fuck yeah, go ahead, like just do whatever the fuck you want. Like, fuck yeah. Turtles, go for it. Dude, it's like, yeah, that's just the vibe I get. Is like, this is the most they can do. Is like, can we do like Robin and Nightwing? It's like, sure, I guess. It's like,
Red Hood, Batgirl. Yeah, but in this game, try to make it clear, Batman's dead. Bruce Wayne's dead. How long, Darby? What percentage of the game do you find out Bruce is actually alive? Is that like a halfway like Stinger thing, or is it like close to the end?
Yeah.
Or is he actually dead?
I feel like halfway.
Okay. It'd be cool if he was just dead. But...
Or maybe it'll be close to maybe he comes in the final battle or something.
Yeah. I'm so curious how exactly this game works because this is multiplayer. You can choose the characters, but it seems to be a very story heavy game.
Yeah.
So
it's bizarre. That is like the thing that I want to know most about this. I mean, this almost feels like what we were saying about Deathloop the whole time. It's like you can keep showing this to me forever. I need to actually I need an unbiased person to just play it and tell me what it's like to actually play it and play it with people. Because
or even then, just kind of a more like exact thing of how I guess progression works, like in the character selection.
I mean, but is it going to be one of those things that it's like Back 4 Blood is a wonderful thing to play with, y'all. The characters are saying things. I don't give two shits what they're saying. In fact, the one time I stopped to listen to what they were saying, I'm like, could you shut the fuck up about the fish in a barrel? What the fuck are we talking about?
Hey, you don't talk shit about Holly.
This feels like a game that it might be like, I'm trying to like follow this like single player story, but I'm also goofing off with my friends on the Discord call, and it's like, are these two things clashing? At some point, am I going to be like, well, we just talked that whole last mission. What's going on?
Yeah.
I do wonder about that. And like, as far as just telling the narrative, is it going to be like, feel like a narrative that like is very pigeonholed in because technically any character or none of the characters can be at any situation at any time. So like, it already feels like that kind of limits what you can do narratively, where it's like, no one can ever be like captured or something like that. Like everyone has the be able to be there or not be there interchangeably.
And it'll just be the weird thing of like if me and you were playing like I'm Batgirl and you're Robin or some shit, and then we get to this cutscene and then Nightwing and Red Hood are the stars of the cutscene. Even though it's like I haven't seen you guys in like half an hour. Like, how did you guys get here?
Yeah,
following us from the darkness or some shit.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. And as far as this trailer, didn't really do anything for me either way. I mean, this just kind of felt like a trailer. It was just like, I mean, it was cool. We needed to introduce the villains. Obviously, it's just maybe. I mean, we've already known what there was nothing in here that surprised me. But there was also nothing here that turned me off. It was just kind of, I'm gonna forget about this trailer. I'm sure. Going forward, so it's like, I don't know, this is gonna be one of those that I feel like I'm gonna need to hear like actual real impressions from a preview event, and honestly probably more from like the Easy Allies have the game or something. It's like these people have the game. That's where
or me
or Jeff, because he'll probably just buy it day one.
Probably. I'm a sucker. Let's get into the next one. which is actually in the Arkhamverse, even though you'd think Gotham Knights would be the one in it, but whatever.
You would.
The Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. We got a story trailer for that. I've not seen gameplay for this game yet, unfortunately. Also said coming out in 2022. I don't believe them.
Probably fair to be skeptical of that.
This game screams like it's going to be pushed out of next year.
Yeah,
to me.
I think that's probably right.
Yeah.
As far as story trailers go, obviously you don't really know about the game until you've seen it in action or whatever. So I'm not really judging,
or even playing it.
Yeah, so I'm not really but just considering the trailer on its own, I had a good time watching the trailer. It was fun.
Yep. Yeah. Well, also it's a very good looking game because all those are like running in engine, like you can tell.
Oh no, Mom texted Will crap. I wonder what happened in the Braves game.
But yeah, the game
5-6 Dodgers, bottom of the 8th.
Oh fuck!
They scored 4 runs in the 8th.
Alex on suicide watch. Oh, I didn't get a text from him. He's probably too busy focusing. Anyway. Yeah, game looks very pretty, looks very nice. The character models and all that. Gonna be purely next gen.
It does.
I think
it really
like
tone wise. I just think it was one of those like it was obvious the Suicide Squad. It's gonna go for like that. That's kind of the tone it was gonna go for. But I was prepared for it to be like very cringy and feel like it's trying too hard to be some version of Suicide Squad or whatever. But I felt like it did a very good job of it feels like Suicide Squad. It feels like the James Gunn Suicide Squad we just watched, but it also feels like its own thing. It was kind of I think it did a good job of towing those two lines.
Yeah, I'm not surprised because obviously Rocksteady has a great track record with the stuff. Obviously, it's slightly different tone, but it's still in the same universe and all that. Obviously, they've worked with Harley and Joker and the like before. So not too surprised, and that gives me hope maybe the gameplay will be interesting. I am curious about the gameplay because I was reminded of it. I completely forgot about this part. Not because I just hadn't really thought about this game. That it is going to be like a third-person multiplayer shooter.
Yeah.
But it can be played single player and all that. So
yeah,
and I am very interested. I like how, they showed us the Justice League. They actually showed us a lot of them. We saw Superman, Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman. We saw the Batmobile, which had the bat signal on the front of it for some reason. So I'm curious about that.
The Batmobile had the bat signal.
No, it looked like it had the bat signal that Jim Gordon flashes from the rooftop, on the front of the car. I don't know if it was that, but it looked like it.
He just ran into it and took it down the street.
So I'm curious if that's not Batman in there. What's going on with Batman?
Yeah, I mean there's some reason why they didn't show Batman. They showed everyone else and didn't show Batman.
Yeah. I mean, there's still a couple Justice Leaguers that you can assume will be in there or not. A couple other things that are interesting. We can kind of talk about and theorize shit. Is not surprisingly, Superman and the like are brainwashed by Brainiac. Yeah. Not surprising. I don't know if they've actually name dropped Brainiac, but obviously with the robots and everything, it's Brainiac.
Didn't we see the Brainiac ship?
Yeah, it's one of those things they didn't say outright with Brainiac, but it's obviously Brainiac's ship. Yeah. I don't know if we saw his. I can't remember if we saw his exact imagery, but it was Brainiac for sure. He was brainwashed. Flash was brainwashed, and Green Lantern was brainwashed, but not Wonder Woman. And
she's just bad.
Yeah. Well, they show her fighting Superman in there, so I'm curious. Okay, is she not under control at all?
Is she the one that's on your uneasy alliance?
Or it's the probably likely thing is she might be an early boss. You break her from the mind control, and she is helping you after the fact.
Yeah.
Because despite the name, I think we agree. Odds are you're not killing a Justice.
I would be shocked. I mean, someone might die.
I would rather say I would not be surprised if Flash fights it at some point, maybe
something
for
like
example.
That could happen,
but maybe not from your hands.
I am going to be completely shocked if it gets to the end. It's yep, we killed every member of the Justice League.
God, I want that.
I mean, it would be like a ballsy, crazy thing. I will eat my words, but I can almost guarantee you that I won't.
Yeah, but I got me really excited for this game, and I'm gonna forget about it for I did between last year and now, until we get the next trailer. I'm just excited because fighting the Justice League could make for very cool boss fights.
Oh, yeah.
Like if they go crazy with Green Lantern, god,
they could get wild.
Also, something else I really like. Green Lantern is the John Stewart Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And also it looks like Flash is. It's hard to tell, but it looks like Flash is black in this. So odds are it is Wally West, who they have made black in recent stuff like the Flash TV show, I think in the comics as well. So it looks like they're going for the Justice League cartoon version of them, but they're keeping Wally like he's recently as far as like race and all that, which cool. I think is cool. And also, Brandon Jones pointed this out. That's just something really cool. It's like, because this is the Arkhamverse, this is the first time us seeing the Justice League from all those Arkham games we played, and that's just kind of cool. It's like, it's like cool because you always wonder, because they kind of talk about them kind of slightly. It's like, what are they like, and what have they been up to?
Never actually seen this universe's version of this character.
Yeah, so I think that's really cool, and I'm excited to go around like an open world Metropolis and all that, and kind of, especially since they're going Brainiac and all that shit. It's like learning more about the overarching DC lore in this universe that we played all these games from.
Obviously, we have the same issue. The same thing could be a detractor with both of these games, with the Gotham Knights and this, but it could also be a positive if there's like, thinking about those Justice League boss fights being like this crazy big boss fight, if like me, you, and Alex and Preston or whatever are like all teaming up to do this. I mean, like there's even though there could be a negative side to this, there could be a super big positive side to this if it's just really fun to play together. You know, it's like
I gotta say it now. I call Captain Boomerang for Alex. That's just right.
Lock it in. Lock it in.
I want my big boy though. I want King Shark.
I want to be Harley.
Yeah.
So all right, Preston,
you're dead shot. You're Will Smith.
Yep, you don't get a choice.
But I'm excited. The game. I'm excited to see more. I think there's a lot of potential for this game. I think both games, but I'm more excited for Suicide Squad at the moment.
Like again, both of them, I feel like have high ceiling, high floor, or low floor. It's like the range of what this could be is.
I know people like have Avengers on the brain and kind of hesitant about this. I understand it, but let's have some hope.
It's just low floor just because it's trying something. It was like when you try a lot, it could like this. The biggest thing I just worry about, especially because these are single, or at least Rocksteady, I don't really remember who's doing Gotham Knights and what they've done before, but it's like single player devs making this this somewhat narrative single player game, but also this co-op game. It's like those are two, you're trying to do two different things. Are you gonna be able to nail the cohesion of those? Is just it's a legitimate question, and I mean because. The situation around Avengers is similar, with it being Crystal Dynamics, a very single player narrative driven game developer trying to do this, and they did not really nail that cohesion between them. So I understand why people are trepidatious and why people cite Avengers as a reason for being trepidatious. I think you have a right to do that or whatever, but I don't think it's like this is an impossible thing to do. I just think it's hard.
Yeah, at least this one hopefully feels maybe a little more focused, because it doesn't sound like it's trying to be like the games of a service. At least right now, the games of a service like type thing, like Avengers.
I expect this to have like an end and not like but your weeklies. I think this is just gonna be we did it. We beat the game.
I wanted to double check before I ran my mouth for Gotham Knights. It's made by WB Montreal, who made Arkham Origins, which this will be their first game in like 8 years or 9 years when this game comes out, if it comes out next year.
Yeah,
because we heard all the rumors. They had definitely some games canceled and all that.
Upsetting.
Yeah. So yeah. Speaking of games getting canceled,
oh no,
Nintendo's canceling development on Animal Crossing. I'm sorry to say.
Right.
But before doing that, announcing a whole bunch of shit in an Animal Crossing Direct.
Hot diggity damn, Jeffrey.
Yep. I'm not gonna go point by point. Obviously, that's a lot of shit. But Darby, as the one who actually plays, Animal Crossing, what do you think of that nice Direct?
I thought it was all very cool stuff. I mean, the funny thing about Animal Crossing is if you're not into Animal Crossing, even if you are in Animal Crossing, it all sounds like very mundane, small shit.
The smallest.
Because
possible.
Animal Crossing is mundane, small shit. It's one of those things that, like, when you describe what you do in that game, it does not sound fun in any way, shape, or form. But it's just like, and sometimes I can be in the wrong mood, and Animal Crossing is like the most boring shit in the world. And other times I'm just in the right mood, and it's like, this is just therapy, and it's nice, you know? It's like, Animal Crossing is the game I can have the most hit or miss mood with, which is fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that being said, everything in here seems like small shit, but it's not. It's like, for sure, when you're playing it, there's so many things that immediately me and everyone else on the planet is like, oh yes, of course, that's awesome. I mean, even some simple things like having you can get to your storage and get to your money and everything outside. You don't have to go in your house or go in Tom Nook's thing and do all that or whatever. Having that stuff out there. Having just another area, it seems like even in the free thing, there's another area for you to like go and design more things outside of your island. Like you have another space that people can go in. That's really cool. Like so, it's like I can mess around with this, and it's not on my official island here or whatever. I can just like do other cool shit over there and everything. And it seems like there's just a lot of new items and like new designs and stuff, and just some dumb things just always should have been there. Like they have these designs, but you can only apply them to very like particular things. Whereas now they're just like, put it on the wall, put it on your shirt, put it on put it wherever the hell you want. It's like, okay, that's just easy. That just should have been a thing. It's like, yeah. So I mean, as far as the free side of it, I think it's a lot of stuff. It definitely feels like stuff that should have just been drip fed, probably. That's all over the whole.
Yeah, and not 18 months later, all at once.
Because it's cool shit, but it's not like such mind blowing shit. Like it did not need to. Like I would have been okay if we just never had a big Animal Crossing. I mean, we should have more stuff than this in general. But if this was all it was going to be, you didn't even need to have this big Animal Crossing direct. It should have just been like, as you make this stuff, release it. Yeah. Especially quality of life stuff. Why sit on quality of life stuff?
Yeah.
Put the quality of life stuff out there. It makes no sense to sit on it. It's weird.
Yeah, I'm glad that it seems like, again, like leaving out the whole, this should have been stuff that was kind of periodically dropped, but I'm glad to see. I had a feeling this would happen when I saw the length of the direct and everything. I saw some Animal Crossing fans being kind of down on it, but I'm like, okay, I think you guys are gonna like this just because it's a 20-minute thing.
Yeah.
And again, because anything they're gonna add is going to be the most mundane shit, so they don't need to spend long on any of it. So it's going to be a lot.
Yeah, sure. Very true.
But I find like, I think it added some cool things. I like the camera thing. Like it's a simple thing to take pictures and all that. I think it's even kind of a cool little added thing that you kind of walk around in first person.
Yeah.
And just see everything and your villages from a different angle. That's cool.
That is a very cool, neat thing. Especially I think people will really dig that just for a different way of like touring your island, to be able to like, I made this bridge that went into this with the tall trees, and the fact that you could, I didn't see how free roam you have the camera, but you can potentially walk across that bridge, look up at the trees. It just gives you a different perspective. You can get more of the vertical perspective of your island. And
I can see you maybe not being able to look up.
Like maybe not, I
might
be going too far.
I didn't really think about it until you mentioned it. Like, assuming you don't have like a certain amount of range or anything when you start. Yeah. But I mean, people like to do island tours on Twitch and shit. That's a cool way to do it.
That would be very cool. Yeah.
And well, even when it first comes, maybe not even doing tour, just doing it for your own personal pleasure. Just like, let's see how all the shit I've done from like how my villager sees it.
I'm gonna like throw a little bit of cold water because it did say like tripod camera. I have a feeling it's gonna be like a range thing, so it's gonna be you sit there and you do it. If you get too far, you have to stop and go over there and start it again. Which is it's better than nothing. But
I think for the tripod thing, we're just talking about you can set it down and get in the picture yourself with the villager.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it has anything to do with that.
Okay.
I mean, you might still be right about the general range.
Yeah.
But
No, you're right. You're right about that. Yeah. But yeah, no, that is a very cool thing. I like taking I'm getting more and more into like photo modes and stuff in the game anyway. And like my favorite thing is designing things in Animal Crossing. So I will for sure be using that because I already took photos, but it got kind of annoying in Animal Crossing that like every photo you ever take is from the exact same camera angle, the exact same camera distance away. I mean, you can zoom in, so you can do some things. Yeah. But this definitely like I think.
But now you can close personal villagers, do fun emotes and all that.
Yeah, definitely more fun things you can do with it, which is cool. And the little things like all the
Hairstyles,
the hairstyles. There's like a lot of little things like cooking, which is very cool, and all the gardening. It's like some fucking Stardew Valley stuff in here.
Yeah,
which is very, very cool. And the customization, dude. Yeah, I like all that. And then there's the page shit.
Animal Crossing Happy Home Paradise, which is pretty much Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, where the fuck that thing is. That game was on the Wii U, I think, but it's paid DLC for this and just looks, I guess, better. I think obviously we'll get your opinion on this. I think this is kind of a cool thing because I would think for some people like this, like people like to get creative in Animal Crossing, but they also don't want to mess up their island and house. Yeah. But being able to just kind of do this kind of stuff freely and kind of in a way have a challenge depending on the person, like these different like just kind of styles and everything, I can see how that could be very appealing.
Yeah, this feels like a very smart idea where it's like, I mean, I don't think it's going to be for everyone. It's for the people who really like designing the houses and everything, which again is what I like to do. But it's like a rapid fire, like I'm guessing you kind of have somewhat unlimited resources to do things here too, or at least they're giving you like at least it won't be like, well, I better go grind up for a week to get stuff.
No. It's not like definitely not that. It sounds like you might have maybe a weird budget thing, but it's not like your money or anything.
Right. That's what I mean. Like. I think it's really attractive to me because I can just kind of rapid fire try a bunch of shit.
And then you can also get some new furniture and shit for your own place that you just might want.
Right. Yeah. No. I can totally see myself spending a lot of time doing that.
They mentioned all this stuff. You can take this stuff to your island, and they also mentioned in this DLC you design stuff besides houses like restaurants, hospitals, and all that kind of stuff, which is kind of cool. It's not just the homes. Like you design the restaurant and there's actually someone working there.
No, that's super cool. I mean, I'm wondering, is that just like a I tell the game this is a restaurant or something, and that's because I was wondering, they're like,
I imagine there's going to be like a list of some. I imagine there's going probably at least somewhat randomized, but there is going to be kind of like a list of things you can kind of do, and they might have something that says facility and then restaurant or something.
Right. Yeah, but definitely, I mean, this game has unreal amounts of customization. I still I've seen a lot of Animal Crossing stuff, and I still sometimes see people have something. I'm like, they have that in the game. They have the craziest little things.
Well, I think even with the fences, it's basically that thing. Just the cities, the towns, islands they showed with the fences. This looks very different from any other island I've seen up to this point, just based on those fences.
I've seen people have straight up, it's like a desert with a dusty road and everything and tumbleweed. Well,
and they added new house potential new house designs and shit, so that will completely change how you can design an island.
Yeah, it makes me want to get back in there and get to the end game of the normal game too, because I haven't gotten to my island is still very basic and everything. I haven't gotten really. I haven't pushed to the ends of the normal game like most people watching this direct have. So I have a good bit of stuff to do on my own already before I even think about getting to this. But I do think I will get this.
So both these things are going to release the paid and free shit on November 5th, and the paid thing is going to be $24.99, unless you have the Nintendo Online expansion.
There it is.
Yep. Segue. So at the end of this, the important thing for non-Animal Crossing fans is they announced the pricing for the Nintendo Switch Online expansion thing. And the pricing is $49.99 for 12 months for an individual, or a family pass for $79.99 for 12 months. And the reason it's important for Animal Crossing is if you have the expansion thing, you get the Happy Home Design or Happy Home Paradise paid DLC for no additional cost.
I'm interested with when we have the family plan. Does that mean we all can get that for free, or can only one person?
I would be surprised if we could all. No, I would not be surprised if it was. Yeah, we all get it, because that's the way it works for the Switch Online and the NES and Nintendo 64 and stuff. I mean, that's just the way it's going to work.
It should, yeah. Anyway, Karen. Yes.
Yeah. So this expensive. Everyone mad. Quite the jump because it's $20 for the individual and up 2.5 times, and the family was $35. Now it is $80.
I think I said it on the podcast. I definitely said it, at least if I didn't say it on the podcast, I said it off. I for sure thought this was a strong possibility.
I thought it'd be 40 individual at max.
I thought this was a very strong possibility just because of how cheap that base one is. Like it's a jump, but I mean, like, you know, Sony and Microsoft charged $50 for theirs or whatever already. Like, this does not surprise me all that much. I mean, like maybe a tad bit, but like I always thought that it's like if they're gonna see an off ramp to get off of their cheap service, I think they're gonna take it. I think they did that cheap service because they know their online shit. They know that people do not come to them for online, so they knew that they did not have a service that they could charge $50 for and people not be mad about. Now they know that they're holding something like the N64 games and I guess the Animal Crossing thing, but the N64 is more the longevity thing or whatever. They know they're holding that hostage and they're like, oh, that's a good enough reason. They probably did their market research. Like, oh, yep, we saw how much these nerds spend on everything Switch in the world. They'll buy this shit. They'll be mad for a second, but they'll buy this shit. So doesn't necessarily surprise me all that much. It's an opportunity to make more money.
Yeah. At least for us, if like everyone agrees for the family plan, it's not that much. Like, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. If I was not doing the family plan, there's probably no way I would get this because I'm just not going to play this enough. Like, I might dabble in an N64 game here or there, but I'm just not going to, like, again, I just wish I could buy the games that I want to play.
Well, the least for you and Olivia, if she's interested in the Animal Crossing DLC, what we would, like, just for me, you, Alex, and Olivia, what we'd pay for the family plan is cheaper than what you guys would pay for the Animal Crossing DLC.
100%. Yeah, no,
at least for the first year. Yeah,
it's for sure.
What I am curious about as well, like, I think the pricing is a little much, or at least in comparison to what it is an expansion pass that costs more than the normal thing, which is interesting. But as far as having the Animal Crossing thing in there, because I've seen some people speculate about this to varying degrees. Some of them may lead to disappointment, but as far as them putting more expansion passes and DLC and the like into this thing down the road.
Yeah. I think that this is just a timing thing, and I think this was a way to spice up the deal some. And like my prediction, I mean, this could be completely wrong, but my prediction is that this was just basically a promotional thing because it's launching right at the same time as this, and they want to get people on board, and they know that people are going to really want this Animal Crossing thing. So like, that's my prediction is that this is a one-time or at least very low time thing.
I can see maybe, depending on what they got, maybe like one thing a year, maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm more towards your end of the spectrum. I've seen some people like, oh, but if they have like all Nintendo first party DLC on this thing, that'd be worth it. It's like, you're not wrong, but they're not doing that.
Certainly do not buy this because you just assume that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
If you buy this, make sure it's worth it just for what they said.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And then more. It's certainly not out of the realm of possibility, but I'm gonna assume in the future that we'll be like, remember how Animal Crossing was tied to that thing?
Yeah. I do find it funny they just kind of slid this into an Animal Crossing through it. It's like jolly vibes, and then the internet's like, the fuck you say?
I mean, like I said, when they did it the first time, they just wanted the PR hit of the N64 Genesis games, and they didn't want the PR hit of the price.
Oh yeah,
and that's even more clarified when it's like, look at all the cool Animal Crossing stuff, and by the way, $50. Yeah. But Animal Crossing shit, cool.
Yeah, I'm a sucker and would probably get this anyway even if I was on my own. I'm a fucking sucker, but luckily family plan.
I mean, it is yearly, but I mean, it's still just the amount of stuff we pay for like that.
Yeah,
it just adds up.
Yeah,
I just already see how infrequently I use Game Pass so infrequently that I just dropped it because it just wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
I just don't use the shit other than like Spotify. I just don't use any of my subscription services really.
Yeah.
Spotify I will like do until the day I die. Like they could even,
But
they could probably up it a little bit and it would still be like I can't not have.
But you know what would truly make this worth it? Adding Diddy Kong Racing, because it costs hundreds of dollars to play it at this point. Oh boy. Hey Darby, you want to hear some fun rumors?
I bet Will would like to hear these rumors.
Apparently he may not be happy about it, but I'll get into that in a second.
I haven't actually, to be fair, I haven't actually read.
This comes from Tom Henderson from Video Game Chronicles. Ubisoft has greenlit what will be its first mainline Splinter Cell game in a decade. That's according to development sources who told us that the title has been put into production as a means of winning back fans frustrated by recent efforts to revive the franchise in the mobile and VR spaces. This is a VR Splinter Cell game? I mean, what's that? It's not clear which studios are working on the project, though two people with knowledge of Ubisoft plans suggest the new Splinter Cell game will be led by a studio outside of its traditional Montreal base. The title is in an early phase of production, the sources said. There's a small chance it could be announced next year. If this is real, I'm expecting it because they want that good PR. The much aggressive sequel will arrive at a time when the company is looking to rebuild its image following a wave of discrimination and sexual harassment allegations. Employee groups say they are not satisfied with the level of action taken by Ubisoft to change its culture. Ubisoft declined to comment when approached ahead of publication. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a long time coming where, like, at this point, they have to make it with all the freaking teasing they've done for. I don't even care about Splinter Cell. That's annoying.
Yeah, they just keep putting Sam in like fucking everything.
They always tease it with his goggles and shit. And that's how they usually start this, like all these stupid announcement things off. It's like, you know what you're doing.
These fans can only take so much more.
Yeah.
I'm not even one of them, but it's like, you know,
yeah,
this is like Kingdom Hearts 3 levels of like, is it like, if it's not happening, just tell me.
Yeah. The waste Kingdom Hearts 4 though, but yeah. Yeah. But if we're mentioning about Will, I saw him like a tweet. It's like, I want a new Splinter Cell game, but I don't want it made by a 2021 Ubisoft.
Yeah, that's just, I don't know. I wonder what it would even be like. I mean, Ubisoft does not tackle new IP super often. They're very formulaic in a lot of things they do, and obviously all the problematic stuff, you know, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's like, they're just not, because like there's been a lot of like cool revivals of older franchises that like super modernize them, like Resident Evil and Final Fantasy and stuff.
Yeah, it looks like we might be getting that for Dead Space.
Yeah, and Dead Space, and even like Shadow of the Colossus and Demon Souls and stuff like that. I don't immediately feel like Ubisoft is the one I would have confidence in feeling like they really revolutionized this. So I could just
I'll also be like, okay, what's the catch? Where are the microtransactions? Where's all this open world bullshit?
I mean, even if it's not microtransactions, which it probably still would be in some way because they add that into like every one of their open world games like that, but it still just will be like, is it just gonna feel like Far Cry almost, where I'm just like sneaky up and just like kind of the barest minimum of like stealth. I don't know. I feel like if you bring Splinter Cell back after all this time, it should have like an identity that like stands out in some way. Like it should. I'm not saying everything has to be God of War revolutionary things like that, but it needs to be something to be like, okay, damn, you know, this like caught my attention because of X, you know. Yeah. Because of some element about it that like feels different than the previous ones, different than its contemporaries, and I guess just this ultimately is just a backwards way of backing into. I just don't have a lot of confidence in Ubisoft as a company.
Yeah,
at least to push envelopes. They're good at making good versions, like good enough versions of the things they do well.
Yeah,
I mean, because like Far Cry 6, I'm still contemplating buying a lot, probably for Black Friday, but it's still just like, I don't know how anyone plays like every Ubisoft franchise. This is me thinking about getting into a Ubisoft game for the first time since like 2014 when I played Far Cry 4. I don't know how
Mario plus Rabbids is the way.
Yeah.
But yeah. am curious, like, yeah, if this is all true, like, if they will announce it next year. I can see this being one they announce, like, as the final thing during their E3 conference, even if it's really early, just to get that goodwill and that buzz. Because this is the company that announced Beyond Good and Evil 2 like a million years ago.
Very true. I'm gonna get a water, but go ahead and break all the gamers' hearts.
All right. You know that Elden Ring game you've been looking forward to, dear listener? Well, it got delayed. Yep. And this is breaking news. First time on this podcast. Never before heard. Elden Ring is delayed just like a month and some change until February 25th, 2022. And we'll get a closed network test November 12th through 14th. Happy birthday, Darby.
Hey.
Take an Elden Ring closed network test.
You know me.
Yep. But yeah, that big game everyone was looking for got delayed. It was just very scared of Pokemon Legends.
I mean, well, Pokemon Legends is gonna outsell it no matter what it does. But.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, it's a month. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
A lot of people. A lot of people.
A lot of people because the fucking month that is February.
I'd be. Did you like? We'll get to it, but did you actually pull up the thing? I'm gonna be interested. I feel like a lot of times nowadays we say, "Oh, this month is fucking crazy," when it's just like quantity. Yes, there's a lot of games, but how many? You know, how many?
But okay,
I want to be pull my Kyle Bosman out, but you know, like how many shakers are there? You know,
for us, not many. So let me go through the list. As far as what is in February, and I'll throw early March into it because it's not technically February, but it influences all that shit. There's a Life is Strange Remastered Collection. Okay, cool. Dying Light 2, that's what it got delayed to, coming out February 4th. Dynasty Warriors 9, King of Fighters 15, Horizon Forbidden West is the big one. Destiny 2, The Witch Queen.
I mean, Horizon, you just named the first one that our industry is actually going to like play instead of something else.
Yeah.
Everything else you listed before will be bulldozed over if there's something. I'm not even saying it's right. I'm just pointing out that's that first game. That's the first game that people will talk about at the end of the year. Okay.
Sifu, Elden Ring, Saints Row. And then March has Gran Turismo 7 at the beginning, and Triangle Strategy. Then like a couple weeks later is Final Fantasy Origin and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
They're wrong. And most of the games I'm looking forward to are the ones that I'm talking about being bulldozed over. But as far as our industry, what they talk about when they say like, oh, what came out this year? You listed 3 games in that 2-month span that I think will actually be like the same people are like, oh my god, there's so many games. They're only going to talk about Horizon, Elden Ring, and there was one in March that you said that was like
Triangle Strategy.
No,
Gran Turismo,
but our industry won't even talk about that.
Yeah.
But like Gran Turismo is the only other one on that pedigree. And again, I'm more excited about like Triangle Strategy and some other things than like any of these other games. I'm just saying our industry, don't let them fool you. February or March is not that big for them. But anyway, rant over.
Yeah, it's big for the people that try to play fucking everything.
Yes.
But as far as me and you, yeah, I'm interested in Elden Ring and Saints Row in February. But those are not sure things in like Triangle Strategy in March, and that's the end of it for me.
Yeah. I don't have anything other than a very
but also for Horizon. The first one came out right before Breath of the Wild, and this one's coming out right before Elden Ring.
Is it like right?
It's like a week.
Wow. Yeah, I think it. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say I think Elden Ring is gonna be coming out and everything, though. But I don't think it's gonna. I don't even know if Zelda really like ate its sales all that much either. But like, I don't think that's.
No, it didn't necessarily
just
talk
the
its sales. Yeah, the
conversation,
conversation.
Yeah, it was one. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Which probably influenced it a little.
At least I feel like these two games will be less compared directly to each other because like. The Horizon
Elden Ring's open world too.
Yeah, the Horizon Zelda thing was just unfortunate because they're both open world. And like Horizon was very good and did some things better, but it was like I'm like climbing up all these mountains, doing all these crazy physics stuff, and I go in the horizon and I'm hitting invisible barriers and stuff. I'm like, well, you know, it's like, yeah. Anywho, Jeff.
Anywho,
hit me with some NPDs.
All right.
Baby.
You better cherish this. You haven't looked at them, right?
No.
Okay, good.
Jeff, who do you think?
Well, cherish this because this could be the last time we get NPDs.
Oh, no.
An NPD group has been bought by someone. I forgot who it was. I don't know if it means we won't get them in anymore, but that could mean we don't get them anymore.
I mean, they were already getting to the point where it's like a bunch of companies just straight up didn't have sales for them. So it was already starting to become more and more of a like asterisk marker. I mean, it's better than nothing, but like... Yeah. Like you said that like GTA is never on there, not because GTA is not selling, but because they just don't have them.
Yeah.
And there was like Nintendo, like they never have digital sales or something. It's
people bring that up, and I feel like
I mean, I'm not saying it's their fault. It's better than nothing.
No. Well, I'm saying like, I feel like it's less companies than people make it sound, as far as like not doing the whole digital thing.
It's a lot of the big ones though. It feels like it's like Activision and Nintendo and.
I mean, Activision. I don't think Activision has an asterisk because Call of Duty's always up there.
I thought it did. I think it's up there despite having the asterisk. I'm almost certain Activision is one of them, and then Rockstar is definitely one of them. Anyway, but I mean, it's not like it's completely worthless. It definitely still shows you a lot. So. NPDs. Let's start with some hardware shit. PlayStation 5 was the best-selling hardware platform of September in both units and dollars. PlayStation 5 is the best-selling hardware platform of 2021 year-to-date in dollars, while Nintendo Switch leads in units. Do you know what the fact that PlayStation 5 led in both means, Darby? I still can't get one.
PlayStation 5 snaps the remarkable 33 consecutive month streak that Nintendo Switch was the market's leading platform in hardware unit sales.
Oh, fuck. How fast that.
Yeah. Then let's get to the numbers, Darby. There's number one, Darby. What was the number one best-selling game of September?
I'm so bad at this. I'm so bad at
I know,
this.
it's funny.
Did Madden come out this September?
No. You're not going to get it because you already asked that. It was Madden. It was number one despite not coming out this month.
It came out last month.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was number one again.
Yeah.
Yep.
I knew it was all like September, August, or October. And I didn't think it was October.
Yep. All right, Darby. For 2 through 6, they are all new games. Let's start at the top. Number 2, Darby.
Fuck, came out this year. Or this year too. Fuck. What is this year? What came out this month? I mean, I don't think Back 4 Blood's gonna be up that high.
Back 4 Blood not on here because it came out in October.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, that'll do it, won't
it? That'll stop it. Yes.
I don't think Deathloop's that high either. But...
Nope.
NBA 2K something or another.
No, but it did come out in October or in September, so remember that for later. What? Okay, Darby.
Last year's Call of Duty.
Okay, I said new shit. 2 for 6 are new. Damn it. Listen to my words. Okay, so I'll tell you this: NBA 2K22 was number 3. Madden was number 1. What is a similar-ish game that could be number 2?
FIFA.
Yes.
Okay.
Number 4. Not like any of the other 3 games we've mentioned. Something new, Darby. Something cool. Some could say this is a win. A win for something, Darby.
Tales of Arise?
Yes.
Holy fuck, man. What the fuck? Oh, shit.
Yep. Tales of Arise set a new launch month dollar sales record for any Tales of franchise release.
I was not prepared to say Tales of Arise for any of these.
Yep. Yeah. It did dollar sales. I didn't mention unit. Do they normally mention unit? Yeah. They usually mention dollar sales, so yeah. So yeah, that was number 4.
Hot damn.
Number 5.
I'm glad that's working out for him. It sounds like.
Yep.
Did that thing come out in September?
Yes.
Definitely.
No. It might not be like a brand new game, but it is a new release.
Did that GTA trilogy come out?
No, that doesn't even have a date.
I don't know.
Diablo 2 Resurrected.
That came out.
Yep. Number 6, Darby.
Okay.
A game that might have been mentioned more than once. You might have mentioned it more than once. You might have mentioned it less than a minute ago.
Deathloop?
Yeah.
Okay, we got there very
All right, we'll just continue reading on from here.
Yeah, I'm too bad. I'm sorry.
Number 7, dropped in. It's probably the lowest this series has been in quite a while. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War.
Is this the end?
Number 8, Ghost of Tsushima. Staying strong. Number 9, I mean, because it's just always in the top 10 at this point. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. That game has legs. Number 10, Life is Strange True Colors.
Ooh, wow. Nice.
Yep. And let's see. Life is Strange True Colors generated the highest launch month dollar sales to any Life is Strange title to date, which sounds cool, but it is also the first one that's come out all at once, which probably has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
And it's $60. Number 11, Mario Kart 8. Number 12, Diablo Prime Evil Collection. What exactly that is, I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Number 13, Sonic Colors Ultimate.
Oh, that came out too?
Yep.
I did not hear a single person talk about that. Was it good?
It was broken. Like literally broken on the Switch apparently.
Yikes.
14, Minecraft. Number 15, WarioWare Get It Together.
Respectable.
No digital sales. And let me see.
Very respectable.
Let's see. WarioWare Get It Together achieved the highest launch month sales for a WarioWare franchise release since WarioWare Smooth Moves in January 2007.
Again, this is a prime example. No digital sales. I expect the digital sales are probably like half, if not more than half of that game's sales. So WarioWare should probably be in the top 10. Realistically, it's probably in the top 10, which is big news. But unfortunately, you just kind of have to guess with that. But like the fact that it's 15 means that it's probably more like 9. You know. Yeah.
All right, run through the rest of it. 16, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. 17, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. 18, Animal Crossing New Horizons. 19, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. And number 20, Mortal Kombat 11. Mortal Kombat had a resurgence at some point. I know it had released that Ultimate Edition, but I know it was off for a while, and then it got back on, and it just stayed on the list.
It doesn't sell a lot, I think.
That's true. But this is dollar stuff, so it's
so
still selling.
It still has
enough.
to sell a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to run through the top 10 because it is literally the exact same, but numbers have shifted, like positions have shifted slightly.
Yeah, very quick. Okay, yeah. Sounds good.
Yep. And that is it for NPDs. Maybe forever. Please, no. Also, follow Matt Piscatella.
I know the fucking video game industry already just has way too many things kept secret, which sucks. Like film, you never have to, immediately what box office it made immediately and at all times.
The day it comes out, we know the first night of things.
It's so frustrating in video games. It's like, how big is this franchise? We really only know from word of mouth, and we can easily see how much word of mouth can lead you astray, because there's a lot of games you would think are huge when it's really just like our community or whatever. And this is how you get people who are like, oh yeah, Fortnite, League of Legends, those are dead games. It's like like whatever, like the God of War, you're really excited about it, whatever. It's like just pennies.
Yeah.
Just a tiny
they
little,
wish they could make money of this.
Little drop in the well of any of these games. It's like that's because it's just the video game industry is so weirdly secretive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Other news?
Close out. some other news.
We got the Pokemon Unite updates, baby. They're doing
Release the squirrel.
We're getting greedy, Darby. You ready to get greedy with your berries? So yeah, we're getting Greedent. He's a defender. I looked at the stats for the thing. It does not look like a defender, so I'm confused. So I want to see. He comes out tomorrow as of this recording. So when this
that was a lie.
Yeah. So I'm very curious how the fuck he plays. I guess I might try him tomorrow before I go to work. But yeah. So that is exciting. And yeah, they're doing Halloween event where apparently your item turns into something that can turn other people into pumpkins.
Very crucial.
Yes, very crucial. A bunch of costumes. Really Tough has nighttime attire. Like it's just sleeping wear and all this kind of stuff. Has a nice little hat.
Pajamas.
Yeah, it's the pajamas. You know, which is ironic because it puts people to sleep. It doesn't actually go to sleep.
It never sleeps. Is that, that canon?
Yeah.
Is that lore?
The crowd gets a nice little thing, and yeah, other people, a bunch of people get cool costumes.
Greet it, inspired pick.
Very inspired. And also is, you know, we're at that point again. It's kind of fun. We don't know who's next.
Yep.
Not because no one's announced. We don't have any data mining Pokemon
We
left.
have reached the end.
Yep.
Of our knowledge.
But they're still keeping on like the on average 2-ish week things. So it's probably not gonna be long until we get the
They're
next
basically
announced
treating
characters.
this like launch League of Legends apparently was treated with like a new character every other week. It's like that's crazy.
Pretty much,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
I know they've gone a little longer, but it's pretty much been on average like every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
we
even
get a
if
new
it's
Pokemon.
like 1 to 2 a month, it's still like crazy. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. I mean, it's very obvious they're like, okay, we're going to go hard in on this game and try to make it a thing.
Yeah. So it's kind of fun. It's like, okay, yeah, we're out of Pokemon that we know are coming, but it's like, probably won't be long until we get more. Probably people, once this update's on, people with data mine, maybe the next couple.
No more leaks. I want surprises.
Yeah. Mammoth Swine was a surprise.
Yes.
Did not know that was coming. Epic Games reportedly considering making a Fortnite movie.
Like what? Like least surprising thing in the world. Like I'm sure this has been considered for a very long time. The fact that they're not at the point of a trailer coming out now is like is more of the surprising news.
But Darby, if they have a Fortnite movie, do they have a bunch of cameos from different properties?
Yes.
Or,
I mean, we talked about this off camera, but I get where you were coming from. Where like they're not gonna be able to get all this with rights and everything. The Ready Player One movie had like fucking everything on Earth in it. And it's a lot less big than Fortnite. You know,
it's a.
Like obviously, it's not going to get literally everything it's ever crossed over with, but I think it'll get a lot more than you think it would. You know,
or does it even try to like? Maybe it doesn't cross. Yes. Maybe it plays it straight.
I think it does because I think it knows what its core competency is. You know, I don't think it'll be the focus, but it'll be cameos, like you said. I mean, I think it'll focus on its own story, but I think it'll be lock it in there. Iron Man's in. He's going to be in that movie. Okay. In some way, shape, or form. Lock it in.
But will an imposter be in, Darby?
He could be.
Because Fortnite admits its imposter mode was inspired from Among Us. No shit. And they also teased a collaboration. And they should have just done this in the first place.
Yeah, probably should have just done this in the first place.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Among Us devs would have played ball as they're even doing it after you ripped off the shit.
Yeah, I saw like one of the devs was a little peeved about it because like obviously there's like stuff to take inspiration, but it was like a direct. It was a lot more direct than some of the other stuff. Like we joke and call Fortnite a PUBG ripoff. I mean that's a little different. This was like crazy. Danganronpa. The Danganronpa series has shipped more than 5 million units. PC ports have sold approximately 3 million.
See, Japanese companies, people want to play these games on PC.
No,
they're going to be like so shocked.
Honestly, yeah, just seeing that number, I'm like, oh, 5 million, yeah, that's pretty good as for a visual novel series, I say, as a whole. But yeah, the 3 million, I'm like, none of the games I think released on PC right away. So
and this has been consistent. Like,
yeah,
P4 Golden was like blew the fuck up on Steam. It's like this is not surprising to any of us, but like they were, oh wow, look at this.
Vita could have launched on PC, but I'm not sure. But yeah, Avengers will get paid experience boosters, despite the devs saying before that they want to do this. They can't stop shooting themselves in the foot.
They're just desperate to get some money on the way out the door. I think
Yeah.
this game's on its way to them abandoning development, so they're just
Despite them saying otherwise, until I actually see them put stuff out, I'm still not convinced. Like after they do their contract for Spider-Man, it's just not kind of slowly
feels like could be the end of the road.
Yeah. And finally, Genshin Impact really wanted Elon Musk to play their game. Did you?
But then they pulled out did they pull out of this whole thing because people were like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Pretty much. Like, and they even changed.
Explain what happened.
So the Genshin Impact or Muho or however you pronounce it, the developers or their Twitter thing were kind of like trying to get people to, I don't know, do a petition or whatever to get Elon Musk to stream the game or some shit. People were like, why? And they kept on going hard on it. And apparently there's someone, I forget the character's first name. A character's called, I'll say Ella Musk. That might be it. I don't know. Something like that. And she's apparently a scientist or something. And then they changed the name of the account to that. And they're like joking, like, oh, we're like, might be her niece or some shit.
Yeah, they were like lore that's just Elon Musk is in the Genshin Impact lore.
Yeah, this is weird.
So just dissect. Where does this start? Like, how does this get?
A joke that went wrong.
How does this get to the point where it's a real thing they're doing? Is it like a social media intern that's just like, listen, the kids are gonna love this shit.
Yeah.
I just really want the documentary on like how this got to this point.
Yeah, it was a strange thing to kind of follow.
Was it just a troll? He's like, I wonder if I can get them to.
I don't know.
Go out to Elon Musk, and then the guy's just like, oh my god, they're actually doing
it. The thing is, I don't think they did do it. Everyone was kind of like, but why?
But like they started to, they attempted it. They did an actual effort to attempt it.
Yeah.
Did Elon Musk ever respond to any of this?
I don't think so.
Because Elon Musk is the type of like weird lunatic famous person that probably would be like, okay.
Yeah.
And then Elon Musk becomes like a character in Genshin Impact, and he's the face of Genshin Impact because that's what 2021 needs.
Yeah. And his character in Aloy can bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just full.
Yeah.
Just uncensored. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast for this week. It was a fun one. It was a pleasure, Jeffrey.
Yeah,
always a pleasure doing business with you. We'll be back next week. More Metroid Dread. Maybe some more Back for Blood. Who knows what else? Possibilities are endless.
True.
Until next time. Jeff, your next signature sign off.
Chicken wing, baba bing, dana boom.
Oh, he always says that every week. Don't check the tapes, bye.